Hey everyone, Marathon Hurley here, back with some more Final Fantasy. Last time, we defeated Lich. Woohoo! Unfortunately, the time for celebration, as weak of a celebration as that was, is over, because today we have the toughest dungeon in the game ahead of us. So, without any further delay here, let's go ahead and show off where we're going to be heading next. Our next destination is this town way over here. So we're going to be in our ship for quite a while here trying to get there. Yeah, but the Cavern of Ice, which is where we're heading today, is by far the most dangerous dungeon, or not by far, but considered by most to be the most dangerous dungeon in the game. And that's if your characters are properly leveled, which ours are not. And without proper levels, this dungeon, which already is a pain in the neck, is going to become much more dangerous. Not only do we have the Pisco demons and all their joy and all the joy that they bring, we also have their cousins, the Mind Flayers, who basically eat Pisco demons for breakfast and spit them out. I mean, they are that powerful. So I've brought all of my Lucky Charms with me because I'm going to need them. I'm going to be very unashamed about saving my game on screen today if I need to. And hopefully we get through it. Because what's crazy is the Pisco demons aren't even the only threat that we have to deal with. I mean, besides their cousins, obviously, the Mind Flayers, we also have to deal with cockatrices and a lot of other deadly enemies. So, yeah, we're going to be saving a lot and hoping for a lot of good luck. So yeah, I mean, even in this area, walking to the next town we need to visit, the enemies here are as powerful as what you saw in the Cavern of Earth. But they like to show up in even bigger groups than we saw previously, so yeah, all the more fun. But we managed to make it to our next destination safely, so I can't complain too much. Now, I'm going to want to rest up at the inn before we leave, but for now, I don't want to go in there. For now, what I want to do is, if I can remember where to walk here, is I want to head straight to the edge of town because there's an item that we want to pick up. And that's not where I wanted to run either. So let's see. Is it back here? Yep, there we go. Yeah, so we want to run to the northeast corner of town, and you'll see this group of people just standing around, this big circle of people. And we want to talk to this guy. If you talk to the people in the town, they will tell you all about this guy, and they'll say, oh, Lucan is like some big prophet or something like that. I think we might need to talk to everyone here before we can get the item that we need from him. Basically, he's going to give us our next mode of transportation, which we're going to be using to get to the Cavern of Ice. And all these guys are doing is just telling us about the fiends of earth, wind, and fire and water. We already defeated the fiend of earth, and then the next up are the rest of the fiends are up next. And I know I'm kind of going through this dialogue quickly, but they're not really saying anything too interesting. Now this guy, what he's saying about Mount Gulag is that technically that's supposed to be the next person that you face, but we're not going to, so yeah. But for talking to everyone, we get a canoe. And that's going to be our next mode of transportation we're going to be using to get to the next town. Or not next town, to the Cavern of Ice. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at upgrading our equipment. I'll go ahead and quickly show off what you have here at the Black Magic shops. As you can see, we're starting to get to the higher level spells, but unfortunately we can't do anything with these, so whatever. I'll be coming back here eventually once we are able to, once we are at higher levels, but for now, not worried about it. Now, in terms of equipment, you can see they have better equipment here, but basically no one can equip any of it. So Oh well. I mean, that's the one nice thing about this team that I picked, is that they, the one nice thing about the team that I picked here is that they're pretty low maintenance in terms of money. The problem is obviously they are much more susceptible to dying at any point in time. Now before I go, I want to actually buy a couple items. I want to buy a couple of ethers because I'm going to have to be far more aggressive with my... yeah, I'm going to buy 20 because we're going to get a lot of money in this next dungeon. And as you saw before, and I'm going to go ahead and buy another tent. Yeah. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to have to be far more aggressive with healing as I go along in the Cavern of Ice if I don't want to reset like every 10 seconds. And at this point, there isn't much equipment we need to buy. Once we get our class change, then there'll be more equipment that I can start equipping, or some of my characters will begin to have a wider range of equipment they can use. But by then, I'll be grinding, and I can grind all the money I need anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. And actually, I'm going to be a little bit paranoid here, and I'm going to buy 10 more ethers. Because, again, I really want to make sure that I don't have all that I need to get through this dungeon. Alright, so that should be sufficient. So now what I want to do is, well, head back to the ship there. And as you can see, the canoe is pretty nice because it allows us to cut across there. We can save ourselves a bit of walking. The one thing, though, you have to be aware of is that you can run into encounters in the water there. And there are some pretty tough enemies there, so you got to be careful of that. Now, I'm not sure if you can actually reach the Cavern of Ice from here. I've never tried it. I've always got back into my ship and gone north from here. You might be able to get there straight from Crescent Lake, but I'm pretty sure you can't. What we need to do instead is head north, and I'm going to be following this staying along the coastline until you see the little opening there, and then we're good from here. Now, where we want to go, not here. That's another one of those optional dungeons that we'll explore later, but we want to go here. So the first step is going to be finding the closest entry point to a river, which looks to be right there. Because all that light brown stuff, that's all mountain. So we can't do much with that. Alright. Gonna go ahead and test out my good luck charms here because I'm going to save before we start diving into the river too far here. Now I want to go at this intersection. At this intersection, it doesn't much matter which way you go. So if I pull up the map again, you don't want to go south, of course, but you can go north with either path and you'll be okay. I want to take the one that's going to require the least amount of walking, though, or traveling. So I'm going to choose the first one. So then we're going to continue to follow. So I'm going to continue to go left here. Don't take the upper path. That leads to a dead end. Then we're going to go south here, left, and then south again. So that little cave over there, that is the optional dungeon, as you can see on the map there. We don't want to go there, though, so we're going to continue to follow this path around. And hopefully I do this correctly. Yeah, so then this is pretty linear at this point, so pretty straightforward. And now we're back on solid ground. Wait, did I? Yeah, so no, we don't want to go north there because that's... Or, we want to follow the path, of course, but we don't want to actually walk in here. Did I go into the wrong place? No, I didn't. Well then. I must have misread the... Yeah, I misread the map, I guess. So this is actually the Cavern of Ice. This must be the optional dungeon. Because I was looking at it and I couldn't figure out how I was supposed to get there. And then, yeah, oh, there's my daily marathon hurdler screw up. So, nonetheless, we're at the Cavern of Ice. I'm going to go ahead and make a save file here before we go wandering in because, well, yeah, this is going to be, well, it's going to be interesting. So let's just see how we do. Alright, so first things first, we want to head all the way, we're just going to follow the linear path. Make sure you are keeping your health topped off at all times. But yeah, we're just going to follow a linear path for now. Gotta love those cockatrices. So much fun. But yeah, we want to continue to follow the path here. And now at this point you see a set of stairs. Take the set of stairs, don't go south, that leads to nothing. So yeah, that's pretty worthless to us. Alright, so from here we're going to just... Doesn't matter which path you choose, you're going to get to the same place either way. And I'm going to go ahead and save here because whenever, like I said before, if I can make it like an entire hallway without running into an encounter, that's a victory. So let's go ahead and save. And then from here we're just going to head east. And again, it doesn't matter where you... It does not matter which path you choose initially because they both come... There's basically a big square and they both lead you right here. And then this floor, obviously, pretty easy. We want to take the other set of stairs. So now that we're on the second basement floor here, we want to head east, or west. So yeah, that was my first encounter with the Mind Flayer there, and that didn't end super great. He killed one of my party members in one shot, but that's how it goes. So yeah, that was my first encounter with the Mind Flayer there, and that wasn't too fun. Yeah, he managed to kill one of my party members in one shot, and luckily we were able to get out of there, but I had to go ahead and heal up off screen. But I was going to say before, I feel like I should just make a compilation of all the times I've screwed up the directions in this game, because, yeah, it's getting pretty silly at this point. Now, what I want to do is I want to get that treasure on the left. The one on the right has a forced encounter that you can run from, but the item is only a pair of clothes, and just, I mean, that's not worth it, right? I mean, no one wants a pair of clothes, especially if you have to run into a random encounter, or a forced encounter to get it. Now, I want to make sure I get the right spot here. So there's a particular spot that I want to step on. I think it might be this one. Hopefully I did that right. Yeah, let's find out. Okay, so I think I did do this right. Now, if you see here, we got a bunch of spikes, and the deal with these spikes is when you walk on them, you will take a point of damage for each step you take. The upside, though, is that there are no random encounters, so that's nice. Now, there are two chests here. I'm going to go ahead and make a backup save file again. I know, I'm sorry to do this, because there is a forced encounter that you can run from in front of the right chest, but it is a very tough enemy, so there's a good chance I might die. I'm going to give it a couple of attempts, but if it takes like 5 minutes and I just can't seem to get away without dying, then I'm probably just going to go without it for now and come back and get it later. Alright, I managed to get away, but now I have to get back. But for this chest we get an ice armor, and then out of this chest we get mithril gloves. Now we can't equip either of those items, so you may be wondering why I did this in the first place, but it'll be good to sell those later, and after our class change I believe I can equip some of that stuff, so that'll be useful for that. But I want to heal up, make another backup save file, and then I'm going to try to walk back, because now I have to actually, well, get back to where I get out of the, I have to actually get out of here, so let's see how that goes. Alright, clutch preemptive strikes for the win. Now how I got a preemptive strike on an enemy in the box, no idea, but sure. Alright, back to the old save often mantra here. Everything in this dungeon is brutal. I've had to reset my game a number of times already, largely off screen, but yeah, this dungeon is not fun. I'm going to go ahead and use my first Ether on Penello there. And now we're going to head south. So you have at some point there's going to be a split path. So we have 3 options. Take the middle one. Save again. And then we're going to be heading left at this next path and not right. So right is where you need to go to actually continue on with the dungeon. But there are some treasures to the left that I want to pick up. So we'll see how this goes. Now, in this room you have 6 treasure chests. Now, 2 of the panels here have a forced encounter. And the encounters are in the top right, or wait, there's a fight in between the top right and bottom right chest. So, you can actually get all of these chests without running into that forced encounter, just by basically not going in between them. So, I'm going to go north there, and now I can come back around, get these 2 chests, and then we're good to go. So if I moved over one more panel, I would have a forced encounter, and I think you can run from it, but again, why? So now we're going to head back out and continue on with the dungeon. And we're getting close. I mean, we're over halfway there, so now we're going to head back to the fork. And of course, as soon as I brag about being halfway there, I get wiped again. And of course, as soon as I brag about being over halfway there, I proceed to get wiped by a white dragon. So much fun. Yeah, this dungeon is very, very dangerous, and everything here feels like it can kill us, so there's not much else to say at this point. Just gotta hope to get all the way out of here. I think I mentioned it earlier in the episode, but if you happen to get a second emergency exit, consider yourself lucky, and if you didn't, think about doing so. If it wasn't for the fact that I was busy watching the Cavs get their butts handed to them in the finals, I would have paid more attention and would not have screwed up my time in the 15 puzzle challenge, because I just ultimately made it way too low for me to really do anything with. So, did I say consider yourself lucky? I meant consider yourself really lucky if you, or blessed, or whatever you want to say, if you happen to get another emergency exit. Because this dungeon is just, ugh. I've been recording for over 40 minutes now, and I maybe have 15 minutes of, at best, of usable footage. Anyway, you saw there we got some go out of that treasure chest. So that'll be useful once we can actually start grinding to get us some better equipment and some spells much easier. But now that we've got that, what we want to do is head over to the right, head south. If you go north, I believe there's an exit out of the dungeon, but why would you want to go through this again? Why? Now you can see there that crack, that's where we're going to want to head next. But before we go into that crack, that doesn't really sound right. But anyway, before we go in there, let's pick up the chests. Let's also heal up, because once we land, we're going to be embroiled in a boss battle. And yeah, we should be good to go. This boss battle isn't going to be very difficult at all, but at this point, I just don't even want to take the risk. So yeah, let's do it then. Step on the crack, and then we fall. And then you walk in front of the treasure there, you end up fighting this guy, who is our next boss. And yeah, this guy is not tough at all. All we're going to do is just spam all of the Fang items that we have. So I'll use all of them just to give you a variety here. And then, yeah, he should go down in one turn. He shouldn't even survive this turn. He does have some powerful spells which can hurt us, but he didn't use them, so sucks to be him. He's done. Yeah, he's not going to survive this turn. I can tell you that right now. And he's dead. Easy enough. And so we get a lot of experience, and everyone gains 2 levels, or they should gain 2 levels. No, they didn't. Huh. I thought... Hold on, let me check something. So we're 94 points away from so there must be another forced encounter coming up here. I thought that was the last of our forced encounters, but apparently I was wrong. Oh well. Alright, so we get Lava Stone, and then from here, well, as you can see, we can't really do anything. Just have to step on a crack, and then we're back on the 3rd floor. Yippee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a save file here, and then off screen I'm going to walk back to where we fought, well, right where we were about to fight the evil eye there. So right where I made that little detour to get into the room where the crack was to get us to the next floor. I'm just going to meet you back there, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I decided to meet you right beside that chest with the ether because I don't think I explained very well where I was going to be going. So a couple of things. One, with regards to, well, first of all, if you have an emergency exit, I want to say again, you are very much lucky. I had a very rough 10-minute stretch there where every enemy I ran into was just annihilating me. It was frustrating to say the least, but thankfully we finally made it out of there, and so we're in good shape. The other thing that I'm realizing, and I might have to, this could be pretty big, is that I don't think there's any more forced battles for me the rest of the way in this low-level class change. And so what that means, potentially, is that the lowest level I could reach might not be 11, it might be 10. In which case, that would obviously change a lot of the dynamics in terms of the advice I gave earlier, because if you look at the experience, I have about 94 experience left, and I can't remember how much I gained early on. It was like 102. So basically, in that case, if you're playing this, you don't want to level up your characters to like higher levels. I said earlier that you could get up to like 755 experience or something and still be level 11, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. I remember reading at one point on the game facts board that like the lowest level possible was level 10 actually, but I didn't really follow up with that, so I wasn't sure if that was the case, and I just took the level 11 class change guide at face value. So in my test run, I went ahead and leveled up much higher early on, just because I figured why not. And I made a last minute decision in my actual playthrough just to go ahead and level up to level 4. So I didn't really think, I honestly did not know that I could get away with just getting to level 10. Now obviously I have to finish playing this out first. I have to actually get through the Citadel Trials and then actually do the class change at level 11 before I can really say anything, but still, that's, I don't know, that's pretty crazy if that's possible. Okay, what I need to do right now though is I need to take a quick pause break. I gotta take care of something and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to deal with the maintenance man real quick. We've been having some problems with bugs in the apartment, so need to let him in to spray the windows. But anyway, now what we want to do is we want to head west from here, as if we were going to Crescent Lake. And I might actually stop here real quick and rest up before continuing. Yeah. Just to be safe. I mean, at this point we should be in good shape, but you never know, so we're getting pretty close to the end of all of this nonsense, so I want to give myself as little trouble as possible. But anyway, now that we're done with that, we're going to hop back into the water here and make like we are heading towards Mount Gulag. And that's where I got confused earlier, because the next location on the map, or there is a optional dungeon up in this area, but I got my frame of reference messed up, so I thought that this was that, and then this was the Cavern of Ice. But this is actually Mount Gulag, which is where we're going to be heading eventually, but not right now. Instead, we're going to be heading towards the desert over here. And so that's really all there is to that. So instead of heading west there, we want to head... Wait, no, I don't think that's where I wanted to go south. No, that is where I wanted to go south. Yeah, so we want to go south towards the desert. And I think I pointed it out incorrectly on the map there, but oh well. What can I say? I'm a guy who generally relies on my GPS very heavily. But yeah, you want to head south, and you can see the desert to the... You can kind of see the desert over there. And that's where we're going next. And we're almost there. Just gotta walk in and... Well, we're gonna see what happens next. This is Ryukon Desert, and you need to bring the lava stone here. And all of a sudden it just... As soon as you walk in, it just starts glimmering and or whatever on its own, and it unearths a massive airship. Yeah, I spoiled it like 2 seconds in advance, but whatever. You get a nice little cutscene here. And I'm pretty sure this was also in the Origins version. I'm pretty sure most of the FMVs in this game were in the Origins version. Although I don't think any of them were really... Obviously none of them were in the NES version. But with this airship, this is what we need to be able to finally undergo the class change. And I'll see how far I can push that today. I mean, I've been recording for about an hour. And I usually don't like recording much more than an hour. Although, like, 90% of this footage is obviously going to be useless. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much further I can go. Now, the Citadel of Trials is, assuming I can actually get it right this time, because I haven't been having the best day in terms of knowing where to go. The Citadel of Trials is right there. So we're going to be heading north here. And thankfully, there are no encounters in the airship, so much less resetting and having to save on screen and all that jazz for me. Yeah, so we still have a ways to go to get there. So let's just keep heading north for a while till we get over the desert. Then we're going to head west from here. Or did I pass it? No, I did not pass it. Yeah, so we want to keep heading north and west. And I believe this is the Citadel of Trials. Can I land here? No, I cannot land here. Where can I land? Oh yeah, that's right. I have to land pretty far away, don't I? Unless I can... Nope, I can't land there. Can I land, like, right there? Huh? Maybe? Nope. Can't land there. Nope. Alright, fine. Gonna have to walk a bit. Wait. I thought I could land here. Doesn't... Nope. Alright, if I can't land there, then... Wait. Where am I supposed to land again? I thought I could land up there. That seems like a... Wait, something seems off here. I must not be doing this right. Definitely can't. That's not going to help me. Hold on a second. Because that's all ocean there. So if I'm just planning this out like a path, then I can't... Why am I having such a hard time with this today? I mean... Wait, am I going to have to walk all the way from here to get down here? Yep, that's what it looks like. Maybe that's what I always had to do before. Because there's nowhere else to really land there. Yeah, okay, we're going to have to walk the long way. Shoot. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, so this is usually why I like to plan out my episode. Originally, I wasn't going to do all of this. So yeah, usually I wasn't planning on going all the way to the Citadel of Trials today. And this is why I usually plan these out in advance. Because my sense of direction is really bad. And despite that, I think it's much better than it actually is. And so I take really bad notes about where I actually need to walk. So, or where I can land my ship. Because I think, oh, I'll remember. It won't be a problem. And lo and behold, it's almost always a problem. Eventually, I will learn my lesson and start taking better notes and about things like this. But for now, let me make sure I'm going the right way this time. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. It's just gonna take... Alright, so now that we're at the river here, I want to make sure I don't screw this up. Alright, perfect. I have to say, I'm getting a little bit antsy with all of this running away I have to do in like every single battle. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of grinding, but I would rather just like fight enemies if I have to and fight them along the way, or avoid them altogether like Final Fantasy, as opposed to having to run away from battles every 2 seconds. But anyway, we are here at the Citadel of Trials. I'm not sure how far I'm going to be able to get here today, but we'll see what I can do. Yep. Yeah, so the only item you need to go through the trials is actually to get the it's the crown, I believe, but then obviously you need the airship to get here. So, alright, let's go ahead and do it. So then I want to go to the upper left room, and then we sit on the throne here to move on to the next room. So from here, well, we're going to be... This is kind of a big maze, and so we have a couple of teleporters here. Obviously, we only have one in this case that we can choose. And then choosing this will give us a couple of other options in terms of where we can go next. So early on, you're going to have limited choices, but at this point, we have multiple, and in general, you want to choose the lower teleporter to move on to the next, to not get lost, basically. Alright, so now we have these 2 teleporters, and I want to, again, choose the lower of the 2, and not the top of the 2, because otherwise we will end up in another location we don't want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and save my game here again, just in case something goes wrong. We're close to the end here. Either this episode or the next episode will be done with all this saving nonsense on screen, but I don't want to lose progress because the enemies here, while they aren't as dangerous as the ones in the Cavern of Ice, they will still mess up your day if you aren't careful. So I don't want to... Yeah, the enemies here can mess up your day if you aren't careful. Now, there's an item there. You can see it's guarded by a fixed encounter. I'm going to try to get it a couple times. If I can't get it, then I will move on, because I've read that you can actually pick this up later. So we'll see what happens. Alright, and I managed to get away from him without taking too much damage. I mean, he got a hit on me, of course, but yeah, not too bad. And for running away like a coward yet again, we get a nice item out of it. So yeah, so what I want to do here is I want to... There's a teleporter to the right. Ignore that. I'm also going to save my game because that was pretty lucky for me. So yeah, ignore the teleporter on the right there. You want to take the teleporter down here, and so yeah, as we go down here, there are going to be 2 teleporters. You want to take the bottom of the 2 teleporters. That'll lead you to this room with stairs. And now we're on the final floor of the Citadel of Trials. So we are very, very close to getting our class change, but we still have a ways to go with some fixed encounters that we're going to have to try to get away from. So let's just follow this very long, narrow path. Alright, so once we walk into this door, we're going to be in a fixed encounter. I'm going to try to get away from it, and we'll go from there. Or not. Yeah, so there was a fixed encounter there. My depth perception must have been off, because I thought we weren't on that first panel, but we're going to have to do it again here in just a second, so I'm going to heal up real quick, and then save my game, and then we'll go from there. The item we got, the healing staff, is actually going to be really useful for us in the long term, But I'll talk more about that in a minute. So the healing staff is one of the first items we're going to get in this game that allow you to cast a spell for free in battle. And so the healing staff will let you cast heal whenever you use it as an item in battle, which is going to be useful for us. But the trick is you can only use it once per battle, I believe. So we get another ice brand there. Some items you can, or some weapons that you can use as items, you can use as many times as you want in battle. Others you can't. So I think the healing staff is one of those we can only use once per battle, but that's okay. And we're getting really close here, and it looks like that guide was right before. You can pick up the gauntlets here, because I've only just recently learned about this this duplicate treasure thing. I didn't really pay attention to that before. So, but I also didn't want to take the risk of having to pick it up later if I didn't have to. But anyway, there is the treasure that I am looking for, the rat's tail, and that's the last treasure that we need to complete the level 11 / possibly level 10 portion of this guide. And this is where that emergency exit comes in handy, because if we didn't have it, when you try to sit on that throne there, you would have to fight a fixed encounter, and you couldn't run away from it, and you'd have to get some experience, which would push you over the top into level 11. But we don't have to do that. We've got the rat's tail, and we are at level 10, so we should be able to remain at level 10 all the way back and to our class change. So let's see if I can do that today. If I can't, then that's fine. But I'm going to see what I can do. The reason I'm not completely sure is that I'm taking a class this summer to finish up my... graduate coursework, and, you know, the class starts in like another hour here. And so depending on how many times I have to reset, because I run into tough enemies, that will kind of determine if I have enough time to finish. Because I do want to catch the bus to be able to make it to class in time. And right now the game is not being super friendly to me in terms of the encounter rate and everything. So we'll see if I can get lucky enough to... Yeah, I'm really getting unlucky right now. So we'll see if I can actually make it to the Citadel. I mean, make it to our class change spot in time. And maybe I should stop talking about it, because it seems like that's kind of cursing me right now. It seems like maybe my good luck charms are wearing off a bit, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, one thing that's going to be really fun, and you guys won't have to see it, but editing this episode is going to be... Editing this is going to be an adventure. I've got like an hour and a half plus. I've got over an hour and a half of footage that I'm going to have to edit, so... Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's going to probably take me a good hour just to try to cut out all the encounters and all the times my party got wiped out and all that fun stuff. So we're almost there, though. I'm just going to keep saving my game every couple of steps here because I'm getting some pretty bad luck with the encounters, and I do want to try to finish getting the class change today since I'm so close. So I need to make sure. And I'm sure my commentary is going to be a little bit awkward, and I apologize for that. It just can't be helped because with all the random starts and stops and then cutting this out and that out, it's just inevitably going to be a little bit stiff at points. So I hope you guys can forgive me for that. And I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that this game does not want me to get this class change today. But nonetheless, we're going to get it because I finally made it to the airship. And now the island we're looking for is a little bit further west, and the cave that we're looking for is right there. And of course, what would this guide be without one more random encounter on my way to getting the class change? But anyway, the cave we're looking for is right there. We're just going to follow this very narrow path all the way down until we eventually reach a staircase. And then from here, we're going to head into the door. And the person we're looking for should be a little bit further north. There we go. And it's Bahamut. And this is his first, obviously this is his first appearance in the series because this is the first game. But he wasn't a summon here. Instead, what he was is the Arbiter of Courage, I suppose. Well, anyway, you bring him the rat tail, and guess what? We finally get our class change. And it appears, I guess it doesn't appear this way. It is true that you can actually class change at level 10 in the PSP version. I'm not sure if this is true for the Game Boy Advance version, but yeah, in the PSP version, you can actually class change at level 10 and not level 11. So I'm going to actually have to make some major changes to my earlier videos and annotations. I should have done a second test run of this, and I should not have assumed that getting the 755 experience was going to be something that or I should have done it one time where I got the extra experience and one time without, so I could just see how it went. But I was a little bit nervous about being able to survive without having higher levels, so I really wanted to be careful. But I guess there was no reason for that because, yeah, we're at level 10 and we have class change. So, yeah, that's really all there is to that. Now what I'm going to be doing is off-screen, I'm going to be doing a lot of level grinding. I'm going to gain at least 10 levels, maybe more. I'm going to wait until next episode to buy some new spells. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot of level grinding off-screen. Next time, I will show off the spells that I'm picking up, and I will also pick up the treasures that I've missed before. But we finally done it. We have class changed, and now we can grind as much as we want. Until next time, this has been Marathon Hurdler. I want to thank you as always for checking out my videos, and hopefully I will see you next time.